Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Becky Sechere. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. If today is the first time you've come across my channel, you're very welcome. Please remember to like, subscribe and share. So I'm going to be talking today about some of the realities of moving to work abroad. Traveling is good, and I know there's a saying, you have to travel and see. But before you travel, my advice to you is to think carefully before you make the move. Do not say everyone is going abroad, so I also want to travel abroad, because living and working abroad, it's not easy. In this context, I'm talking about the UK. Someone would say, oh, you have there, you're working there, you've been there, you said for 20 years, and what are you saying? Yes, everybody's situation is different. Everybody's experience is different. Many people come and they have very good experiences. Other people get here and their experience is not as good. So today's topic is why some of the foreign nurses are leaving the UK. My video today is based on someone's experience. So if you want to know more about this, why not watch the video to the end. So you're welcome back to the main video. So as I said in the introduction, this is based on an individual's experience, and before the person left the UK, I asked them to tell me some of the problems they've had and some of the reasons they have decided to go back home. So this person came to the UK, was working in one of the hospitals in London, and had her PIN, and I think she's actually less than a year, and decided, I don't think this is for me. Once again, everybody's experience when you come to the UK is different. I've had a different experience. You may have a different experience. You may be working at a place where there's no problem. But sometimes people come, and in the first few months, when you arrive in the UK, life can be very difficult. And if you're not careful, you would decide that, I don't think this is for me, and you rather go back home than to be here. So one of the reasons this person gave me, actually before the person left, I tried my best to advise her to give it a try, move to other places and all that. But, it got to a point the person felt, no, my mental health was getting affected and I can't do this anymore. I felt really sad. I couldn't encourage her or convince her to stay. But, I did understand her at the time. So one of the reasons, the difficulties she found, so once again, this information I'm putting out there is to help you as an international nurse who has moved to the UK or who is planning to move. If you have all these things, you have all this background, it would help you to, make other decisions. So I'm going to be talking about how you can help yourself at the end of the video as well. So you need to watch the video to the end. Anyway, so one of the reasons some nurses leave the UK, either back home, so this person went back to her home country. Others decide to go somewhere else. So let's go through. First reason is loneliness, no one to talk to. Yes, you can speak to people back home, but it's never the same. You haven't got anyone around to talk to. You haven't got any friend. You haven't got any family. You could be someone living with friends and families, and suddenly you find yourself in a country where you're just on your own, you're lonely. Loneliness is one of the biggest problems people face, especially if you come here on your own, especially the young ones who are not yet married or haven't got their own little family. The next one is lack of support at work. Could be managers, could be, other colleagues. She found it difficult to get the support she needed at work, and that doesn't help if you don't have the support at work. The third one is bullying at work. So she felt bullied at work and she didn't have really anyone to speak to, and so she felt, I can't take this anymore. Another one she mentioned to me was racial prejudice at work. I'm sure a lot of people would agree to that. Sometimes you would meet situations from colleagues, managers, or patients or families, and you know this is not right. And she couldn't deal with that, which is understandable as well. No one should go through situations like that. Another one is the living conditions, especially accommodation. So this person, when she came, was living in shared accommodation, and shared accommodation can be a difficult place to live. Some places are good, but sometimes if you're sharing with other people, everybody is different. Some people have no concept of cleanliness. They cook, they finish eating, they put their plates or their bowls in the sink and it would be there and start molding. It is very common. And so, you know, that you don't have your own personal space. All you have is your bedroom. You're lucky, if you're lucky, you have your own toilet, ensuite accommodation. Sometimes you may have to share with other people, and not everyone is able to cope with that kind of situations. And then there could be restrictions as well. The landlady could say, don't bring friends, don't do this, don't switch on heating at this time. Now it's very cold as well. Another reason the person gave was not being able to afford a flat for yourself. So as I said in the beginning, this person was living in London. If you're living outside of London, it is easier to afford a place of your own. But unfortunately in London, yes, people are able to afford places of their own in London, but you have to work harder. You have to do extra shifts and things in order to get a bigger house, because this person said to me she was living in a place where a shared accommodation and she was paying 700 a month for her rent alone. You can imagine if she's living a bit further away from the hospital, she would be having to travel. So transportation, you have to feed yourself. She said to me her salary was about 1,700 and something. So if 700 is gone, you know, just on accommodation, then what happens? And also this person mentioned about low pay, because yes, I know London is they are better paid than those of us outside of London, and in order for you to be able to make extra, you have to work extra to make a lot of money or extra money. So for a band 5 or as a starter, that person's salary was not enough to afford whatever she can, like accommodation and things like that. If you're living outside London, I know the monthly take home is about 1,778. That is the starting point. That is after you have qualified as a nurse, or not qualified, after you have registered as a nurse with the NMC. And it goes up and up over the few years. When you get to 4, 5 or 6 years, your salary would go as a band 5. I think 3, 4 or so years going. From 4 years going, your salary, when you get to the top of your pay point as a band 5, your monthly take home would be £2,068.87, and this is based on 2023-2024 salary. So you can imagine, you have to feed yourself, you feed your family, you pay all your bills, you pay your accommodation. By the time you finish, you haven't really got enough left. I know I've seen a video somewhere, somebody said UK people in UK are very stingy with money, especially us foreigners. We don't send money back home. It's because the money is not enough. In order to get enough, it means you have to do 2 jobs in order to make more money. Anyway, another one is the frustration about being a nurse, maybe 5, 6, 10 years experience of a nurse back in your home country, and you get here and you have to start as a healthcare assistant until you get your nursing registration. My advice about that is the fact that yes, they feel we are not yet registered or not yet on the NMC register here. We need to get to know the system. So during that short period is when you are paid as a healthcare assistant. I did that when I came 20 years ago. I was working as a B grade at the time. It's the same as healthcare assistant now, but it wasn't for a long time, so don't get too frustrated. I know it can be, but at the same time, it's a period, it would come and pass. So as I said again, I'm giving you this information so that you are well prepared. You know that these are some of the things you might meet. Once again, you may go to certain places and you might not experience any of these things. You might be okay, but you may go to other areas where you may experience this. And knowledge is very important. And if you know, you would be well prepared to deal with some of these kind of situations. And some of the nurses, why are they leaving? Some go to USA, some go to Canada or Australia as well. I knew of someone as well who has actually gone through the process and was about to go to Australia as well. So another one, reason I want to say as well to carers, senior carers and care assistants or caregivers who are coming to the UK. It's also not easy, especially the domiciliary care where you have to be driving or walking to people's homes. It is not easy, and I have seen a few TikTok videos where a few people, someone was even crying. People get here. I did a video on the fact that people are getting here and they are not getting jobs. They've arrived, they've paid all the monies they have to pay, they've arrived to the UK and they don't have a job to go to. And if you don't have a job, how do you pay your bills? They cannot feed themselves, they cannot get accommodation or pay for an accommodation. And if you're renting in the UK, they want you to pay some deposit. Most often, some of the recruiters would say we'll give you 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 2 months of accommodation. After that, you have to find something. So, you know, how do you overcome these things? So these are my little tips for you. When you come to the UK, if you're a Christian, the first thing is make Google, before even Christian bit, make Google your friend. Go on Google and search for the nearest church to you. If you're not a Christian, whatever faith you are, whether Muslim, Hindu, find the nearest Hindu or Christian church or whichever close to you. Go to church, speak to someone. If you're having difficulties, you might find someone there who would help. Not all church members are helpful, but majority are helpful. So it's very important to do that. You might meet people from your home country, or also you need to find communities of people from your home country so you can link up with them. And if you're struggling, speak to someone at work if it is work related, someone you can trust. If your manager is the one causing problems, seek advice from the matron, speak to the matron, speak to HR. Find someone within the work environment you can trust and speak to be able to direct you as to what to do. Speak to people back home, reach out to someone. And these days, as you know, there's a lot of us on social media giving you all these tips. If you're struggling and you want to speak to them anonymously, or I would say you want to come out with your story anonymously without mentioning your name, and so that your story would come out and people can help you, you need to reach out to us. You know, most of us have our emails, or you can just put a comment to say, how do I contact you? And I can find a way of contacting you. Tell me your story. I'll put your story out there. And if anyone wants to help you, we can find a way of solving some of these difficulties that people get here and they are going through. If it is work related and you're struggling and no one is listening to you at work, my advice to you would be find another department within the same hospital in order to seek help. So search for another department, because most of you, when you get here, I'm sure some of you have contracts that when you're leaving, you have to pay your employer certain monies back. So you need to find out about that. If you are having to pay them back, you can either one, arrange with them to pay it in installments by direct debit or standing order, so you can pay them over a couple of months or 1 or 2 years. If you don't want to leave because you like that place, then find another job in a different department. Don't stay there if you're struggling and you feel someone is giving you problems and you're not able to solve the problem. My only advice to you is don't give up easily. I'm sure most of you have spent a lot of money in order to get here. You need to persevere. You need to try, and make sure you speak to people as well. Put your mental health first. If you feel this is too much, just like the young lady's situation, she felt it's too much for her, too much pressure, too much stress, too much emotional issues going on, and she thought, Becky, this is not for me. I think I'm going back home. When I heard that, I felt really crushed. I felt really sad that, she had to leave because of all these things, and I'm somewhere else, and I couldn't help her to stay. But, these things do happen. She's putting her mental health first before anything else. And I do agree with that. If you can't take it, why not? Home is home. You have all the love, you have all the support at home. Money is not it all. Living in somebody's country, it is difficult. And I was ranting today at someone when I went out, but it is what it is. You have to be strong. You have to have a strong mind in order to, but if not, once again, as I said, it's not all places that you meet difficulties. There are few places you will go through these things, and you have to find a way of dealing with it. Speak to people, take care of yourselves. I hope this video has been helpful, and if you have any questions, if you have anything you want me to talk about, or if you're struggling somewhere and you want me to put your story out there and ask for help for you, why not? Just drop your details or just comment under this video without putting your details or your number, and I'll find a way of getting back to you. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.